Yo, what's good? I decided to take the day off today. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm back at it, folks. Um, this is gonna sound like some real nerd shit, but the longer I go not having my shit together, I have like a stacking buff that makes me more likely to get my shit together with each passing day. That's why I said yesterday, I am now at 120% chance to get back to work. So here I am. Okay, I got a lot to say about that, but let's take a look at what I got going on here. I finished up the prototype, finally, for level 2-6, where I last left off. This level is unique insofar as it has no segmented rooms. Instead, it's just one nice, long, cool hallway with these little bit of segments in between of guys on the side, and then also some dudes who pop out from a hidden covered area here that you can see as well, which sometimes go after Genyu, who will shoot them, as I've shown before. And I finished the layout for all the enemies. I got the spacing and everything just right, so the pacing feels really good. So let's go ahead and play it. I'll show you what it's like. Oh, oops. There we go. Let me put the volume up here a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It's on my headphones, but whatever. You can see Genyu there behind me, occasionally shooting a dude that comes up behind him. Oh. As with most of the levels I've made for this act, pretty hard. Might require some balancing. But I very much enjoy it. Oh, come on. Bruh. God damn it, man. The game is hard. Oh. Bro. Oh, dude. I really wonder in practice how massive the step up in difficulty, like the difficulty spike, is between the first and the second act. At least with the way I currently have it set up. Alright, here we go. Dude. I will talk about in a moment, and like, okay, actually I'll talk about it right now. One issue I have with these gunmen that I think I need to fix is I made it so that they have an aiming delay every time you dash. So you'll notice oftentimes that they're not shooting right at me, especially right after I just dashed. They'll kind of miss me, sort of like that. And sometimes they miss very blatantly. And I did this because I found that it could occasionally feel kind of frustrating when you dash and then they just killed you instantly with perfect aim. So that's why I added that inaccuracy. But with the gunmen, and that kind of worked decently for the archers, because you're mostly usually trying to just avoid their arrows completely. But with the gunmen, it's pretty key to try to intentionally deflect the bullets back at them. And in that case... oh shit. In that case, like you saw just there, it makes it quite difficult to hit the bullets accurately, because it's kind of hard to judge where they're actually going to shoot because they miss you so blatantly. So I was thinking a better solution for it to not feel unfair when they oh my god, man. That was the last enemy. I think a better solution would be to just make it so instead of them missing blatantly, just put a short delay whenever you dash on them firing again. So it takes them like a moment to readjust their aim. That way it won't feel like an instantaneous kill on their part after you dash. But their aim will always be perfect, so you don't get tripped up when you're trying to deflect their bullets. Oh, I didn't even notice that guy. Okay, I think you get the idea. So this will be my last run. Bro, no, I'm sorry. I need to go one more time. And you know what? I'm going to rant about something else while I play this. So recently, part of the reason I have been such an unproductive degenerate is because I got all busy getting sucked into yet another game called Fellowship, which is kind of like running modern World of Warcraft dungeons, and that's it. Like no MMO aspect, it's just non-stop running extremely challenging dungeons. And I noticed occasionally you get players where, like teamed up with players who, if anyone makes a mistake at any point, even the slightest mistake, they just immediately leave the game. Now this isn't unique to this game, of course. You will see similar behavior in any competitive, try-hard online games, cooperative or competitive. And I just personally think that if you give up that easily at the slightest bit of difficulty during something, I think you're a little bitch, basically. Those people piss me off. It's so annoying getting into a game and like the tiniest, like, yo, you know what the funniest is? Because it's kind of hard to explain in the context of this game. But if you think about something like Rocket League, you'll sometimes get into a match and the other team will score 1 goal against you, let's say in the first, whatever, 15 seconds. So you got the whole game ahead of you, but your teammate just quits instantly. Like within 15 seconds. Just because like 1 goal got scored. It's that kind of attitude. And besides being, just wanting to say that people who do that are a bunch of little bitches, I also think it's an interesting study in psychology, in the sense of, if you are that much of a fucking baby and that much, like that easily tilted over a video game, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I can't help but think that you probably give up on a lot of things in your life very easily, don't you? Like just having such a defeatist attitude over the slightest setback. What I'm doing right here is a perfect example. This is incredibly difficult. And yet I refuse to stop doing this until I beat it. I must complete this because I know I can do it. And I refuse to be defeated by these punk gangsters. So, in conclusion, don't be a weak ass bitch. Oh, damn it. You know what also sucks? When people do stick around to try it out. And to be fair, it takes too long and they're like, it doesn't look like this is going to happen. But they don't say that. They'll just randomly quit after like 20 minutes of trying. I feel like at that point you've developed a bond with your fellow players. And you should at least be polite and say, hey, you know what, guys? It was a good run. But it looks like this just ain't going to happen. Peace out, boys. You know? Whatever happened to common courtesy? All right. I hope you're still with me after 10 minutes of trying to beat that. I finally did it. Okay. Yeah, so one thing I didn't like, as I mentioned, is the aiming of the gunmen. So that's something I'm going to look at. I'm overall happy with the prototype, though. I think it's an excellent base. Like I said, I still need to balance it within the context of the rest of the game, but it's feeling very good. I had a lot of fun there. And I think the pacing is good. But, so yeah, the aiming was one thing. The bullet deflecting in general, I think, needs to be a little more generous. And yeah, then there's like a couple of minor bugs. Nothing really that interesting I need to look at too. But overall, prototype's good to go, and I'm happy with that. Hopefully get started on prototype level 2-7 tomorrow. I just have 7, 8, and 9 left to go, with 9 being the boss fight. Oh, I forgot to show also. In this level, at the end of this level, you're going to meet Violet. I even have her little sprite here. One of the 2 final samurai bosses of this game. However, this is not a boss fight. There's a story resolution that's going to happen here for Dahlia's story. Dahlia's the other, well, one of another female characters. She's got a bit of a backstory with this girl here as well. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. Now, I just had one other thing I wanted to talk about, which was my lack of productivity recently, which I've had quite a bit to say, and I've mentioned, but there was just one thought in particular that struck my mind, because the truth is, I talked a lot about different feelings and thoughts conflicted about, was I running away from something? Is it a coping mechanism for something? Am I anxious, overly anxious about the future? So that's what I'm trying to cope with. I don't know. All kinds of different things, and many of which could be true. Maybe it's even something else. I don't know. But one thing that I've always thought a lot about as well when it comes to something like this, like where I'm wasting time playing a game or something, is you have different levels of priorities in your life. Like, if you have an addiction to something, like let's say someone smokes cigarettes. A lot of people who do that will also say, well, they wish they didn't smoke cigarettes. But in practice, they don't actually do anything to try to quit. And that's kind of like what was going on here. I'm always thinking in the back of my head, I need to get back to work. I need to stop spending so much time on this. And I don't mean to, also, by the way. When I got into playing this game a few days ago, I was just like, oh, I'm going to check it out for an hour or so. And each day when I go to play, I'm just like, yeah, I know I need to get back to work. Like, I'm going to play, I just want to play for like an hour or so, and then I get back to it. I just want to check one thing. But of course, I get sucked into it. I've talked about that before. I just, my mind works like that. And even though I know it works that way, I still let it get to me sometimes. I start doing something, it's just so hard to pull myself back out of it and to go and switch gears and do something else. Anyway, my thinking was, though, is that is there a certain aspect here where I also just enjoy what I'm doing? And the truth is, for whatever reason in that moment, I just really would rather be doing that other thing instead. Like right now, I'm just genuinely enjoying playing this game more than I am thinking about or looking forward to working on my game. Now, that's where maybe you want to ask why that's the case, and you can get into all of those other deeper reasons I mentioned. But it's kind of like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's easy to say, I would rather be working on my game. Or using the cigarette example, I would rather be someone who doesn't smoke cigarettes for obvious reasons. But not badly enough that I'm willing to do the things to change that. And also, if I'm being completely honest, I actually enjoy that I do that. See, most, like a lot of people won't say that, yeah, I keep smoking because I actually just like smoking. Because maybe that makes you feel like a bad person, like you're not trying hard enough, whatever. I think a lot of people have a hard time being honest with themselves about what their real motivations are, and they don't want to admit to things that might make them feel bad about themselves or like they're a bad person or something. So people will say oftentimes when they struggle with things like this, yeah, I wish I could do this thing, but it's so hard, and I want to do that, but I struggle with it a lot, and so on. And I just wonder how much of it is being able to just admit to yourself, or the starting point is to admit to yourself, well, actually, I just really like doing this thing, honestly, and I like it enough that I would rather just keep doing it than have to put in all that effort that I know I'll have to put in to stop doing it. I actually would rather, for the time being, enjoy my cigarettes than to put all the effort in to be able to get a life where I'm not a cigarette smoker. I don't know, maybe my lungs don't hurt as much, or my maybe my clothes don't smell, or whatever. Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to be in shape, but I don't want to go to the gym. Okay, well then, do you really want to be in shape? Or do you just enjoy food? You enjoy food and you actually prefer being lazy, and it's really that simple. And then it comes down to the question, though, of, yeah, I don't know. I think that's one way of looking at it, is to start with that assumption that what you actually do in reality is a more truthful reflection of what your priorities really are and how you feel about it. And I think if you can start from there, it gives you an avenue to then create a better version for yourself and to create motivation for yourself. Because I think if you say to yourself, well, I want to be someone who doesn't indulge in this stuff, but it's just so hard, that's kind of defeatist. Like, there's nowhere to go from there. You're just acting like it's this abstract thing, higher power thing that has power over you and you can't do anything about it. It kind of doesn't even make any sense. But if you can say, yeah, I do this thing because I just really love it, honestly, and it's great, and I just really don't want to do what would be necessary to change this, even if I get what the benefits of changing it would be. And on some level, I kind of wish I was someone who did that, but not enough that I'm willing to do that stuff. I think if you can start from there, then you can say, okay, but why am I preferring this short-term pleasure over the longer-term stuff? What really am I going to get out of this? And do I actually care more about that short-term pleasure over whatever long-term benefits might be from doing something more difficult? And who knows? Maybe your final conclusion will be that this is a particular short-term pleasure that you would rather have rather than doing the longer term stuff. I don't know. That's for you to decide. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting thought. It's something that I think about. I think about it almost every time I go through one of these phases. That it's easy to sit there and be like, am I hiding away from something? Is it because of this or that? You know, there's probably some truth to that, but also in those moments, I also just really enjoy those things, and I always have. And I guess I kind of talked about that because I mentioned in one video about still maybe having a hard time letting go from certain lifestyles, from certain ways of living that I've had in the past. And it's easy to just be like, I'm never doing this again. But then I do some of those things, and instantly I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how much I enjoy this though, and why I did this shit so much. Oh yeah, I remember why I like video games. Oh, I remember why I got into them and why I want to, part of the reason why I wanted to make them. But there is hope, after all. I smoked weed for like 14 years. I sure as shit enjoyed that hobby. But I'm 2 years clean now, folks, coming up on 2 years, so. And that is a choice that I'm not only proud of having accomplished that, but is one that I can say has definitely served me well. So I think that if I was able to overcome that habit, I can overcome the others as well. And you know what? It took me like a decade to give that habit up too. That wasn't like a one day I did that and then all of a sudden it was done. No, dude. I tried so many times to stop smoking weed. It took like 50. I think that's a common thing too. I've read before that it's actually normal for addictions that a person has to try like a dozen times before it takes. So, given how long it took for me to get over that stuff, I suppose it's only normal that trying to get over this cycle of phases I'm going through is something that will take a potentially unknowable number of attempts before I get it right. But the mere effort is reflective of a genuine, deeper desire to change. That's what counts. It's not about changing immediately, but just what is the direction of movement? That, I think, is the most accurate reflection of your true intentions. See you tomorrow.